On today's episode of Diksha, we are going to take a look at the development of rituals. In our everyday daily lives, and especially in our religious lives, we meet or we are expected to perform rituals. And especially amongst the younger generation, but also amongst people who may not understand or agree with the rituals, there's some kickback onto whether it should be practiced or not. Now, um, if we look at rituals basically at face value and we say that I'm not going to practice this ritual or I don't see the sense in performing this ritual because it does not make sense. It's not a logical thing to do, or I don't understand why I have to do it because the 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 process of doing it is sometimes illogical in terms of, especially for the Hindus, there's a lot of fasting to prepare for the ritual. There are certain things that need to be done before the actual ritual is performed, which makes it seem like a long, drawn out process, or like, well, people will say it's a waste of time. And that point is especially true in our modern material based society where it it will seem to get what we want in life, we need to acquire money and wealth and not so much depend on the the fruits of rituals or the fruits of sacrifice to bring what we want. So especially in the well-off and the well-educated sectors, we may find that people feel that rituals are a waste of time because they could be better spending that time in earning money. But if we take a look at, or rather, in today's program, we're going to take a look at the basis of rituals or why rituals exist in the first place. How did they come about? And I think if we delve a little into the nature of how a ritual origins, we can see the value of a ritual. Now, first, let's look at the theory behind a ritual practice. And just to make this clear, I'm not specifically speaking about Hindu rituals, the pujas and the, the structured rituals themselves, but I am talking about the act of sacrificing. So we can use the same value structure to assess, the way the Christians perform their routines, or the Muslims will perform their routines when they perform sacrifice. And sacrifice means fasting and preparing for certain religious events in their practice. So the nature of a ritual, or the philosophy or the thought behind the ritual is to please God, right? Now, I would say that's a modern take on the value of a ritual, which is that we are trying to please God in order to gain God's favor so that He returns to us favorable results. And I would say that's not the real purpose of a ritual. That's not where the value lies in a ritual. Because if a person becomes, let's say, more aware, or a person really has faith in the universe set up by God, because the modern take on rituals seems to centralize people and the lives of people as being the prime focus of God. So when I perform a ritual sacrifice, or I undertake a form of discipline in order to appease God, it's strictly based on him returning or being pleased with my sacrifice and returning favorable results to me, as though I am the center of his plan. Now, but if we look at it in a universal sense, uh, the structure of the universe itself and the billions of years of creation that superseded my life, my birth and death, my life, then logically speaking, a ritual would not be geared at gaining favor for me, because the ritual itself needs to find a place or a structure within the plan of the creation till the dissolution of the universe itself. So then it doesn't make sense that a ritual is to please God or to gain favor from God, because for this practice to exist as long as it has means that it supersedes human desire or the will of a particular result on behalf of humans. So it doesn't make sense that a ritual is geared towards us achieving any particular goal from performing them. So then why do we have the ritual then if it's not for our benefit? Or rather, I would say, what is the benefit of performing a ritual? Now, symbolically, the ritual is a way of thanking or a way of acknowledging that we are part of the universe, that we are part of, well, let's say the cosmic plan or the divine plan, that from the creation of the universe till the dissolution of the universe, I have found a place in it for a certain number of years, and I realized that my very existence is dependent on the universe itself. The universe supports all the systems that I depend on. Simple as the air I breathe, the sun I need for vitamin D, the sun I need for plants to grow, for other beings to be able to exist. The atmosphere of the world that allows us to exist on this planet, and which doesn't allow life on other planets. The universe structure must be there for me to exist in this life. And so a ritual acknowledges that this is the way things are, and that nothing that I really have or nothing that I really come into contact with during my lifetime really belongs to me, because I am not the center of the universe. I am not the center of any creation of any sort. I am just, or we could say, haphazardly wandering through the billions of years of creation. And I think this is the very basis of the idea behind the ritual. So I'm not delving into what the ritual is. Whatever ritual we are talking about, the idea behind it is the acknowledgement that I depend on nature, I depend on the universe, I depend on God, if you want to say God, and I acknowledge that nothing really belongs to me. So there's no real ownership. So now that we look at the idea established behind the ritual, what's the modern take on the ritual? The modern take is that I am going to perform a particular ritual in order for God to be pleased with my sacrifice so that he will give me with what I want. Yeah, well, then that defeats the whole purpose of the ritual, because the whole philosophy and the spirit of the ritual is the opposite of that. And probably, in the logical sense, as a lot of intellects and business people will think is that instead of performing the ritual, it is better for me to spend my time working and earning money, because with money I can achieve the things I want. And I don't think that is wrong. That is actually correct. Because the ritual is not geared towards giving you a house and a car and a relationship with somebody or a marriage. That's not the purpose of a ritual. So then what the intellects think is actually accurate. There's no point in performing a ritual if by my own hard work I could achieve those things. What the ritual reiterates to us is that we are dependent on nature and the universe and God. That's it. It's not geared towards giving us our material desires. So the next step in this thought process is that, okay, so I'm saying not to perform rituals, but that's not what I'm saying, because along the same lines of thought that the businessman and the intellectual and the person who is well off will say, it's better for me to work for what I want. There is the idea within that I can achieve everything. I don't need anything else. And that's the fallacy there in that line of thinking. The thought that I don't need anything is opposite to the thought, the thought that I don't need help is opposite to the thought of I acknowledge that I am part of the universe and I depend on the universe for sustenance, to be able to exist, to be able to breathe. So that will be my argument for the understanding of the nature of rituals, is that it is impossible for me to exist without nature. And so I must give some form of acknowledgement or thanks for the nature that exists around me, that supports me. So that's my basic thought on the origins of rituals, and not so much on the history or where a particular ritual originated, but more so the idea or the spirit behind performing a ritual. And I won't exactly say it's a benefit to anybody to perform a ritual, or it's a folly or it's a mistake not to practice ritual. It's more, your life would be better off if you understood that you are supported by the universe, and so to understand why rituals are done. And even with that understanding, one may be able to develop their own rituals in simple ways, as simple as saying a simple prayer at the beginning of a day, at the end of a day, or simple as acknowledging the nature around you and living in a manner where we appreciate the nature around us is probably the simplest of rituals. So at the end of the program, I'd just like to reiterate the main point, which is that the spirit behind the ritual is the acknowledgement of our dependence on the universe for sustenance. So it's not about God granting us our material desires, which we can, through hard work and dedication, achieve on our own, but it's rather the acknowledgement of the role of the universe in our everyday life. So that's my program and my short presentation on rituals. I'd like to thank you for joining me on today's program of Diksha, and you can leave comments on this program and any other program on our Sankhya TV Facebook page, and we look forward to hearing from you. My name is Omkar, and I'll see you next time.